What dirty ancient Roman bathrooms were like. Imagine a place where the stench of filth was so overwhelming that even the bravest of souls would recoil in horror. A place where bodily functions were a public spectacle and hygiene was non-existent. Yeah, welcome to the ancient Roman public bathrooms. From overflowing latrines to communal sponge sticks, get ready to discover the disgusting truth about what it was really like to answer nature's call in ancient Rome. Hello friends. Well, if you often fantasize about the past and really want to know about the history of ancient civilizations, then you're at the right place. Welcome to Unthinkable Past, a channel better known for dishing up the outlandish ancient traditions of all times. The Roman Empire was once a powerful civilization that stretched across 3 continents, surrounded the Mediterranean Sea, and boasted a fifth of the world's population. They were known for their incredible engineering feats, such as building roads and bridges, and for introducing sanitation practices, like latrines, sewer systems, piped water, and public baths believed to improve public health. However, a recent study analyzing the ancient fecal matter, in fact, questions the effectiveness of the Roman sanitation system in promoting public health. So how come such a civilized community left places more unhygienic than they found them? Join us on a journey back in time to the filthy Romans, as we uncover the dirty secrets of the bath-obsessed ancients. And trust us, it is not for the faint of heart. There's a lot you can find out about a culture when you look at how they manage their toilets. The Queen of Latrines, Koloski Ostro, says, an anthropologist at Brandeis University who literally spent 25 years of her life researching ancient Roman gutters. Let's peep into these bathrooms now. Following the eruption of Mount Vesuvius on August the 24th in AD 79, several Roman settlements, including Pompeii and Herculaneum, were preserved as time capsules, providing an invaluable glimpse into ancient Roman civilization. These cities had been unearthed and explored since the 18th century, revealing many communal restrooms. These communal restrooms are noteworthy for their remarkable beauty, often adorned with frescoes on the walls and sculptures in the corners. The toilet seats themselves were made of cold, polished Italian marble, carved into neat rows of holes. And, contrary to modern restrooms, Roman toilets did not have a flushing mechanism. While some toilets were connected to internal plumbing and sewage systems, the vast majority simply had a small stream of water constantly running beneath the toilet seats, which acted as a rudimentary means of waste disposal. Well, these communal restrooms, or public toilets in ancient Rome, were known as frescoes, and were often connected to public baths, utilizing their water supply to flush away any waste. These restrooms were not meant for private use, and multiple people could use them at the same time. Interestingly, the holes were cut so close to one another that you may wonder how people actually used them. Wouldn't they put you in the immediate proximity of someone else's butt? Moreover, there were no dividers of any kind in between. Talk about no having inhibitions. Conducting your private business next to a dozen other folks. Some other questions are likely to be brewing here, as in, were these facilities covered with a roof? Did they have doors and windows? Considering that the seats were made of stone, did they become uncomfortably hot in the summer and cold in the winter? It also makes one wonder whether people talked to each other while doing their business, or even shook hands afterward. Furthermore, what did they use for cleaning themselves, given that toilet paper wasn't invented until much later? And finally, were these facilities designated for men only, or did they cater to both genders? Well, throughout its 2,000-year-long and geographically diverse reign, the Roman Empire displayed a range of toilet attitudes. Nevertheless, in general, the Romans were less restrained than modern people. They were perfectly fine with sitting in close proximity to one another, as evidenced by the theatre seats being roughly 12 inches apart. Moreover, they were comfortable with using communal toilets, just as they were with communal theatre seating. Taking privacy further into account, our modern restroom practices involve the exposure of one's lower body, while in ancient Rome, people could still maintain a level of modesty while using these toilets because of the everyday togas they had to wear. The clothing would act as a barrier, providing some sense of privacy. After doing their business, they could simply get up and go about their day, although there was still the possibility of soiling one's toga. Interestingly, the Roman frescoe, despite its communal nature, offered a level of privacy comparable to modern urinals. Coming to the cleaning habits. Well, just like how we use modern American-style toilets, a Roman user would sit down, take care of business, and watch number 2 float blissfully away down the sewer system. But instead of reaching for a roll of toilet paper, an ancient Roman would often grab a tirosium, an ingenious little device that combines a natural sponge, from the Mediterranean Sea of course, with a stick to make a sort of toilet brush for your butt. After wiping, the user would rinse the tirosium in whatever was available, running water and/or a bucket of vinegar or salt water, and then leave it for the next person to use. Yeah, you heard that right. It used to be a communal butt cleaner. And of course, there were other means of wiping as well, such as using abrasive ceramic discs, also known as pessoi. And if we talk of hygiene, the ancient Romans valued comfort when it came to relieving themselves. However, it's unclear whether they practiced good hygiene by washing their hands after using the bathroom. Some may have dipped their fingers in a container of water placed by the door, while others may not have bothered. The use of shared terosia, or toilet brushes for your butt, was a common practice, which means that if one user had an infectious disease, others would easily contract it. Despite their outward appearance of sophistication, Roman public toilets were hardly luxurious. While the white marble seats may appear pristine today, they were often soiled with waste and missed holes. The facilities had low roofs and small windows, providing little light and ventilation, which contributed to the foul odor. Additionally, a lack of proper maintenance made them uninviting. Even the upper class of the Roman Empire avoided these toilets unless absolutely necessary. The upper class of Roman society would often pay for the construction of public toilets, but they wouldn't use them themselves. They built them mainly for the poor and enslaved, not out of compassion. It was so that they wouldn't have to walk knee-deep in excrement on the streets. Like any other urban civilization, the Romans had to figure out how to dispose of waste. The wealthy Romans saw public toilets as a means to rid the nobles' eyes of the filth of the commoners. In public baths, it was customary to engrave the name of the person who funded the construction, but the walls of the toilets were left unmarked. Apparently no one in Rome wanted to be associated with a toilet. Plus, why would the elite want to use the same facilities as the common people, who were often sick and infested with lice? The wealthy had, in fact, their personal latrines constructed over cesspools with plumbing, allowing waste to be disposed of through a sewer system. Some may have preferred using chamber pots in their homes, which enslaved people would later empty into the gardens. These elite Romans did not want their cesspools to be connected to the common sewer pipes as well, for fear of the resulting stench and vermin infestation. They hired stercorai to remove their waste, often paying a significant amount for this service. However, for regular working-class people, using public toilets was a common occurrence, where they would sit next to others and relieve themselves above a communal hole. Their togas might have hidden their private parts here, but nothing could mask the noise and smell. Then, the situation was made even worse by the vermin, including rats, snakes, spiders, a common sight around the latrines, posing a threat to public health by spreading disease. To further add to the unpleasantness, the accumulation of methane gas sometimes caused fires, leading many Romans to continually pray while using the toilet. Furthermore, these public toilets were not designed to cater to women's needs, and women who had to use them did so with fear of being mugged or even raped. You see, using public toilets was an unpleasant experience, as there was little privacy and risk of encountering filth. They were also thought to be possessed with life-threatening bad spirits and all. Shitter beware the evil eye could be seen on the walls there, and Romans were afraid to death to use the public toilet. Fortuna, the goddess of luck, often appears as a kind of guardian angel on the walls of toilets, highlighting the fears and uncertainties of using these facilities. Okay, so ancient Roman pooping habits seem strange, but what about their customs around peeing? Well, let me add an interesting fact here. Well, based on historical and archaeological evidence, it appears that ancient Romans used small containers for urination in their residences, workplaces, and stores. And once these containers were full, they would be emptied into larger jars that were placed outside on the street. Just similar to how garbage is collected, a team would come on the weekly to collect these sizable jars of urine and take them to the laundry facilities. But why? To your awe, it's just because the ancient Romans utilized urine to wash their clothing. Don't be surprised. For your information, human urine contains high amounts of ammonia and other chemicals that make it an effective natural bleaching agent. In ancient Rome, individuals working at laundromats had cracked this useful piece of the puzzle and would spend their days barefoot, standing in massive containers filled with urine and stomping on clothes to clean them. Although the personal hygiene customs of ancient Romans may strike us as strange, the reality is that they utilized tersoria and washed their garments with urine sustainably and effectively for centuries, surpassing our usage of toilet paper. In fact, even today, toilet paper is not universal practice, as evident in areas such as rural Ethiopia, India, and remote regions of China. Moving on. So what did all that washing and flushing do for the health of the less fastidious folk who came under Roman rule? Well, according to the findings of Piers Mitchell, a paleopathologist from the University of Cambridge, the sanitation measures employed by the Romans, such as latrines, sewer systems, piped water, and public baths, were not effective in protecting the population from parasites. Mitchell studied Roman sites in various parts of Europe and the Mediterranean region and analyzed soil, corporites, skeletal remains, and fecal samples. He identified 12 endoparasites and 5 ectoparasites, with whipworms being the most widespread, followed by human roundworm and fish tapeworm. While these parasites existed in earlier times, their prevalence increased during the Roman era. Although the Romans were known for their frequent bathing and hand washing, The concentration of ectoparasites found in sediment layers was similar to those in Viking and medieval times. Although the Romans may have had some practices that we consider unhygienic by modern standards, it would be unfair to label their entire society as filthy or disgusting. In fact, some of their ideas, such as the use of fertilizers and the construction of bathhouses, were based on sound principles, but were not executed as effectively as they could have been due to a lack of understanding of germ and parasite transmission. Let's get to some calculations now. Simple math tells us on average 500 tons of poop per day was produced alone in the city of Rome. And the Roman sewers were an impressive feat, given the sheer volume of waste they had to manage. With a population of around 1 million people at its peak, Rome had to contend with an enormous amount of fecal matter each day, the equivalent of the daily output of 1 million adults. The city simply couldn't recycle it quickly enough to keep up with the volume being produced. To handle such an immense amount of excrement, a truly massive sewage system was required. The Romans were known for their grandeur in all aspects, even in the removal of filth. They initially learned their sewer techniques from the Greeks. This technology transfer was due to the influence of Hellenistic culture and the construction of latrines by Roman soldiers in military camps. To maintain the cleanliness of their vast spaces, the Romans built the Great Sewer, or Cloaca Massima, on a massive scale. It was named after the Roman goddess Cloacina, the cleanser, derived from the Latin verb cluo, meaning to clean. The Cloaca Massima was capable of moving millions of gallons of water daily, and was so enormous that Greek geographer and historian Strabo once wrote that Rome's sewers were spacious enough to allow wagons loaded with hay to pass, and even for veritable rivers to flow through them. This sewer system in ancient Rome served several purposes. It helped drain excess water from the city, eliminate waste, and transported everything undesirable to the river Tiber. Additionally, it played a crucial role in preventing floods by draining water from the surrounding swamps and river valleys. According to the Roman author Pliny the Elder, even when the rivers around Rome overflowed with great force, the sewers were able to withstand the raging waters and direct them to the Tiber through the triple-arched outlet of the Cloaca Maxima, which can still be seen today. Although the Cloaca Maxima effectively addressed the problem of sewage removal in Rome, it didn't fully resolve the city's health concerns. While the sewer system transported the waste out of the city and into the Tiber, it also polluted the water that many citizens relied on for drinking, bathing, and irrigation. Therefore, whilst Romans no longer had to endure the sight and odor of their excrement, they failed to eliminate its dangerous nature. And, as civilization continued to grow and urbanization increased, the battle against human waste persisted. It seemed like an endless struggle, with no clear solution in sight. Well, there you have it. We hope you liked this video. Hit the like button and subscribe to this channel without any delay. Make sure you turn on post notifications, and also let us know in the comment section about your views on these nasty public toilets of ancient Rome. Would you dare step in it? Thanks for watching Unthinkable Past. Until the next time we meet, continue learning and stay healthy. Goodbye.